Hi everybody, welcome to the end of the day check-in. I am Tiffany from Voices for Independence Fitness and Activities area, and I am here to share a recipe with you tonight. So for this evening, I have prepared all the ingredients to show you how to make a vegetable quesadilla. It's a super colorful and healthy dinner option for you vegetarians out there, but you can easily add chicken, ground turkey, or ground beef to this recipe if that's what you'd like to do. So what you're going to need is a sweet potato. Now, there was a great trick for a quick bake of a sweet potato because you're going to want to mash it up. They recommend in the recipe that you poke your sweet potato with a fork and then spray it with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper if you'd like. Wrap it in a paper towel and bake it in the microwave for 8 minutes. I'd never tried this technique before, and so I had done the following. I followed the directions and I put mine in the microwave for 5 minutes because mine set at a pretty high power, and it came out great. It was super soft, so I was able to peel it right out of the skin and mash it up. So that's what you're going to have to do. You need a baked sweet potato, 1 avocado. I just have it in my bowl because I already sliced it and I don't want it to brown too rapidly. You'll need some black beans, rinsed and drained. I just rinsed them and put them back in my can just for convenience of my demonstration here. The same with some corn. You'll want to rinse and drain and rinse your corn and your black beans. Then you'll also need, they use the mini bell peppers. I just had regular sized bell peppers, so I did cut mine up. They offer the idea of using the orange or red ones. I had a yellow, so I chopped up a yellow bell pepper. I also did a purple onion. That is my personal substitute for the jalapeno peppers they recommend. And then I have some tomatoes as well because I wanted to use them up. That's really the only reason. So obviously this is a super easy recipe that's very flexible to meet the needs of whatever vegetables you have in your house. You'll also need a little bit of taco seasoning, or if you want to make your own homemade. I've done that in the past. I just don't have any currently. It's super easy to do, and you can find a recipe online for homemade taco seasoning. It's a great idea if you want to cut down on the sodium. A lot of these pre-packaged seasonings, all brands and types, they all have a lot of added sodium, even when they say low sodium on them. So I would recommend that, and you can just Google one of those recipes. You'll also need cheese of your choice. The recipe calls for some grated or shredded cheddar. You could use mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, or whatever cheese, or you can go cheese-free. So to get started, what we're going to do, I'm here at my stove top, and I have lightly greased one of my nonstick pans, and so I'm going to turn this on here. And what we're going to do is basically saute our vegetables that we had chopped up. Now, since we eat a lot of quesadillas and tacos in our house, I'm going to just go ahead and add all my vegetables. The recipe I'll be linking in the comments below when we're done with the live calls for, I'll read it over for you because it makes 4 medium-sized quesadillas, and that's when you have the medium-sized tortilla and folding it in half. I'm going to prepare mine a little different to show you another option because we have the smaller size, the street taco tortillas they call them. So that's what I have, but this calls for only a 1/2 cup of corn, a 1/2 cup of the black beans, and then a couple of the mini bell peppers, and 1 teaspoon of diced jalapenos. And they call for 2 avocados. I had 1 left, so that's what I'm using. So again, this is a super flexible recipe, but I actually want leftovers. So I am going to saute all the vegetables I chopped up. But again, you can follow the recipe provided after the live to see exactly how many you will need to make the recipe exact. So we're just going to put these in the skillet and saute them up. You're going to want to let your vegetables soften for approximately 5 to 7 minutes, depending on your heat and how tender you like them. For demonstration purposes, I might cut it a little short, but again, I will always go back and let mine re-saute. I think somebody just jumped out of the pan here. Once my vegetables get going, again, you can always put in your onions and peppers first. They are a little bit of a harder vegetable, so they're going to take a little bit longer to soften. Then you can add your tomatoes. I don't really mind. I just throw all mine in at once as convenience. As you can see, it's super colorful already. And then we're going to be adding in our black beans and our corn as well because we want them to heat up. So in a few minutes, we'll add those in as well. As these vegetables are sauteing, I'm just going to recap the day real quick. If you missed anything, you can always go check it out in our announcements at the top of our Facebook group. Daily, we save all the live videos. Today, Steph shared a workout of the day, which is still easy to find at the top of our page. Brian and Matt were on with health and wellness, and Matt also shared, I apologize, Ray did today, a midday stretch. So those are some great things to check out, and they're available all day long for you guys to access. Also, Steph and I did a demonstration video on transferring from wheelchair to a couch, to a lower stool, and then to the floor. So if you are interested in viewing that, that is also saved in the announcements section. And Lynn just got done with an amazing painting craft project, so if you had not had a chance to see her, check it out. I just finished watching her right before I went on live here, and it was a really cool art technique she used this evening. So give it a look if you have time tonight, and don't forget to tune into Brenda for actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, folks. You know why? I'm talking about tomorrow's. Brenda will be on tomorrow at 7 at the end of the day. I was just writing the schedule for tomorrow. With that in mind, I just want everybody to know that tomorrow I will be off, but the wonderful fitness and activity staff will be covering, so I greatly appreciate them. Matt will be on again with an amazing recipe at 9 a.m., and then he'll be back at 10 with a workout to go along with that recipe. Then all day we have some great stuff. We have Frank Marzano live at noon with music for us. We're so grateful that he's joining us. He's performed live several times at our office, and he'll be here tomorrow at noon live in our Facebook group. And then in the afternoon we have some more wellness, and then we have some of our favorites with Technology with Ed and Sports Talk Live with Matt, and Gardening 101 with Steph. So Friday's a full day, and that's where Brenda wraps it up for us tomorrow night at 7. So stay with us all day tomorrow too, and we'll be here to entertain you if you have nothing else to do. So back to our recipe, our vegetable quesadillas we're making. So far we put our vegetables that we diced up. We have yellow pepper, tomato, and purple onion sauteing in a pan on the stove top. Now we're going to go ahead and add those black beans that we drained and rinsed prior to preparing our dish. I had done that earlier. I just put them back in the can for lack of a better place to put them while we prepared for this demonstration. And then we're also going to add some corn as well. So once you have added your black beans and corn to your quesadilla vegetables in the pan, we are just going to let those heat up real quick, and then we can get to the quesadilla construction portion of this demonstration. So as soon as these vegetables are heated through, I'm going to switch them to the back burner and then show you how to make the quesadillas. It's basically like a tortilla sandwich. All right, so as these continue to simmer, I'm going to move them to the back burner, bringing forward, turning down our heat. I'm bringing, oh, there's a piece of onion that jumped out. I'm going to bring ahead a smaller pan, which I'm going to lightly grease. Now, if you want to, I prefer to grease my pan with some olive oil spray, but if you wanted to, you could lightly oil or butter your tortilla for the quesadilla. So what you're going to need is tortillas, whichever size you have at home will do. The recipe recommends using the medium-sized tortillas. We happen to have the small ones here, so I'm going to use that. And instead of, traditionally, you'll find tortillas, and then they fold them in half to create the quesadilla. I am actually going to just use one for the bottom and one for the top. With the smaller tortillas, I find it easier to use them that way. So what I like to do is I like to turn my heat on a little bit. I do like a good toasty quesadilla. So what they recommend you do, and now we're going to bring in, you probably wondered about that sweet potato and avocado we made. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our mashed sweet potato, And we're going to get some out of the bowl, and we are going to spread it just like we were making a sandwich onto our tortilla. And then as our vegetables simmer in the background, I'm going to do one more thing to those as well. So let me just finish spreading our sweet potatoes on here. And then I'm going to put this in the pan to start baking. Again, because I like my tortilla to be crispy on both sides. So the bottom is going to have sweet potato on it. So I'm just going to lay it in the pan so it can start to brown on the bottom. In the meantime, I am going to add about a tablespoon. Well, for mine, maybe a little more because I have a bigger batch of it going. You're going to want to add about a tablespoon of that taco seasoning to those sauteing vegetables. We definitely want to jazz it up with a little bit of flavor. So we're going to mix in the taco seasoning as they saute in the back, and then we'll come back to our quesadilla making in the front. So now that we have our bottom of our quesadilla is toasting up with the sweet potato, this is where I am now going to take some of that delicious avocado. I'm just going to scoop it right out of the avocado skin, and I'm going to put it on top of my quesadilla, and you could attempt to spread it out if you so desire, or you can just leave it in chunks as well. Avocado is great in either form. I'm just going to smash it down a little bit on top of my sweet potato and get a little bit more out. If you want to mix them together, you can do that as well, or you can just use one or the other. I thought it was a great idea to use the sweet potato and the avocado. They're great flavors, and they both add different and wonderful nutritional value to your meal. So as the bottom is toasting up, what you're going to want to do next, I'm going to take some of those delicious, they smell so wonderful here, our sauteing veggies, and I'm going to put a scoop right on top of my quesadilla here, spreading them out. Again, I'm not folding mine in half, so I can load it up if I want to, because I'm just going to put another tortilla right on top of mine to make my quesadillas. So once you have your desired amount of vegetables in it, then we're going to sprinkle some cheese on it if you are using cheese in your recipe. This one's not open yet. There we go. And I'm just going to lightly sprinkle some of that cheddar cheese on there. Not too much. I try not to eat too much cheese. And then you're just going to put your top on. I take the other tortilla and I lightly press. You can also use your spatula to press that down. And once the bottom has golden brown, you can flip your tortilla over. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. I'll show you my end results, and I'll also post the recipe in the comments below. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to miss you all tomorrow. I'm taking another day off to spend time with my family. It's the summer, and honestly, a lot of you may not know this, but I've been at Voices for, oh my gosh, it'll be 16 years next week. Woo! And for the last probably, I'd say, 13 of those years, I worked